Right.
It's like, oh,
I know, because you've asked me. Wow. You've asked me, and then I'd be real irritated. Like, don't be life coaching me. I didn't ask for your services. And I mean it every time. And you,
I know that. I'm gonna send you a PayPal link.
So, with your instant. And when I say I don't want to be the life coach, I mean I don't want to be the life coach.
And that's why I'm sending you a PayPal link anyway, because it's already happened.
And that's the hard part. And that's how but that part about not feeling bad, trying to take that off the table, that's where the real work comes in. You were talking earlier about doing the work. That's where the real work comes in. But for me, it also means that's how we know that my own worldviews and thoughts about things have been co-opted by some external forces. Like I'm going to use my sweet girl as an example. She's a teeny tiny thing. If clothes don't have the adjustable elastic waist, I don't know if anybody out there who doesn't have kids know what I'm talking about, but for little kids, especially when they're in like the toddler size and then the little girls and boys sizes, there's this internal mechanism in the waistband that has elastic, and you can adjust the size of the waist. Cinch them. If clothes don't have an adjustable waist, she can't wear them. Because she's so lean and slim, they won't stay up on her. She doesn't get to wear skirts, mostly because they don't make them in her size for her age. They're just disproportionate. I can't get a 2T because all the little butt would be hanging out because she has long legs, but she's slim and thin. My baby has the world's best self-image. Like, she thinks she's a fashionista. She loves getting dressed. She loves clothes. She loves dressing herself. She is unthwarted about whether the clothes match, whether they go together, whether her pants are too short and it's time to now pass them along to someone else who could benefit from them. If they're what she wants to wear, that's what she wants to wear. She likes to do her own hair. She has opinions about all of those things. She's very feminine in her way. So if she can get away with wearing lip gloss on the weekend when we go out, she's all about that. She always has a purse, an accessory, That is who she is. And there's been no experience that she's had so far to lead her to feel bad about herself, except this year in kindergarten, one of her classmates told her she was fat. And here's the irony and the depth of our body negativity and our fat phobia in this society, is that my daughter at the end of the day was really bothered and upset because one of her classmates called her fat. She has clearly neither of them have any conception of how that term is used, but they have an idea that it's used to be mean. They have an idea that it's used to be judgmental. They have an idea that it's used to be shaming. And I had to really have a moment with her and sit and talk her down about this idea that even if she did fit the definition of fat, which she didn't, she shouldn't feel bad about herself, and she shouldn't let anybody make her feel bad about herself. So the feeling bad, the shame, the negativity that gets internalized, it's in the air. It's hard for us to all kind of ignore. My child is very light-skinned. Down here in the South, that means something. People frequently ask if she's biracial. Oh, what is she mixed with? Oh, she's so pretty. And I often have this thought sometimes, like, I wonder if she didn't have the physical features that she has, but she was the same skin tone, but people still be saying, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. So all of that stuff is getting in there. It's getting in there. I do the best that I can to kind of erode it, to overshadow it with the things that do matter. So I talk to her all the time about how she's smart and creative and talented and compassionate and funny and loving and a great daughter and a sweet spirit. I talk to her about those things because I want there to be way more weight, pun intended, way more weight given to all of those things that really truly matter about who she is, about her having a sense of pride about her blackness, about her having a sense of pride about herself as a female person in this world. I want all of that to be able to be bigger, heavier, weightier than the stuff about how she looks and shows up in the world. Because I know it's getting in there whether I have control over it or not.
Right. To our listeners who are listening live, I know our show is allegedly an hour long.
I know, and we're going to wind down.
Hang with us. Hang with us for another 10, 15 minutes or so, because we cannot in this podcast without having this part of the conversation. And that is what you just said about your little girl is not ever a conversation I had as a young man. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how the body positive women movement is important for women. And this is why, again, I say it is important and I don't disparage it. I just wish it were more inclusive and addressed the nuances of body positivity. That's my only request. But that's a hard and a tall order. And I understand that. And I'm not saying I have the answers to that. But I do know that there is a need for that. That aside, as a young boy, could you be called fat or overweight or porker or chunky or whatever the case is? Yeah, you could. It does happen. People tease. You're too fat, you're too skinny, you're bony, you're this, you're that. It happens. It happens. I think the difference with that is that it doesn't equal your identity the way it does if you're a woman.
It doesn't.
Right?
And that's because of our good old friend sexism.
Right.
Let's never forget him. He's always lurking over to the left.
He be always in the room. You don't see him.
Always in the mix.
Lurking.
Lurking.
Wait a minute.
Why are you creeping?
Oh my goodness, I was just about to say it. Why you creeping, sexism?
Oh my God, that is an inside joke between me and Tomas, and I apologize to anyone that feels excluded in this moment. But that's one of our
sorry. Here's the thing: if you all look at Vice Principals on HBO, you will understand why you creeping. You will get it. I just wanted to be respectful of the performance.
Oh my God, I love it.
But seriously.
So it is extremely different because men's bodies aren't subject to objectification in the same way that women's are.
Right.
That men get to own their bodies in a very different way.
Right.
In this society than women do.
Let me tell you something.
And
I'm sorry.
No. And there is never a time in a woman's life that she's looked at without some sort of objectification. Like it just doesn't happen, and we internalize that. I mean, she gets that stuff. My daughter gets that stuff. I get my own stuff as much from other women and other girls as we do from men. I mean, it's so embedded in how we think about ourselves.
There was a hashtag trending on Twitter today. What I learned from Roseanne, the Roseanne Barr Show, and I was looking at it, and one of the interesting tweets that I saw was the person said, "We learned that a couple on television can have real bodies and not follow the hot wife, not so hot husband format." And I thought of that in the context of us today in this conversation. And then I thought about real life. I actually thought about some of my colleagues, friends, clients. Husband, overweight, but he has a little money, right? Wife, banging, smoking younger. Now, that's not true of all cases, but it is true in some cases. She is told that she has to be beautiful in order to get the man, keep the man. I was looking at a comedian in the UK, just so that people understand this is not an American issue, this is an issue. And he was talking about the socialization of young girls and putting up different things that young girls are. I'm pretty, I'm a princess, I'm this, I'm that. And young men socialize into sciences, arts, future engineer for the little toddler. And this one t-shirt said, when I grow up, I'm going to marry a footballer. The other t-shirt for the boy said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a footballer.
No, we're not buying that.
So,
no.
These images are bombarding. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Bombarding.
I know. Oh, no. I was in the airport. This was a couple years ago. I saw an airport and they had girls, quote unquote, girls and boys onesies next to each other. And the girls' onesie says, do I look fat in this?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, this was another one I saw. Thick thighs for a young girl. What? Why are you giving it to your 1 year old? To your preemie? Thick thighs. Right.
No preemie has thick thighs. Let me
That's
be clear
not a
about
thing.
that. My
It's
baby
not
wasn't
even cute.
There's no thighs on her. She thinks she's fine though, and I love that about her.
So here's the key. We accept that as cute for young kids. We see a little baby. Oh, that's so cute. Thick thighs. That's so cute, right? But what we're also doing is we're sending a message to her. And then when she turns 16, she has body image issues, and we go, "Why? You're beautiful. I don't know where you're getting this from. Boo boo, I got it from you."
Right.
I've been taught this my whole life.
And so that's where to bring it back and to see if we can start to wind down. I think that's where the internal work has to come in, right? What I know to be true is you don't make any improvements. And there Alexa go in my business. I can hear her. You probably muted your mic, Tomas, so nobody knows what I'm talking about. But Alexa is now all speaking in the background at Tomas's end. What I know to
Don't
be
worry
true
about
is,
Alexa. Don't put my business in the street. Don't tell people I have an Alexa.
You do. And she's always
talking to me. She's
interrupted our
telling me
conversations.
things.
And now she interrupted my podcast. And I don't appreciate it. No profit sharing for you, Amazon.
We're going to rename the podcast Doobie Deep with Dr. Nikki, Alexa, and Tomas's cats.
No.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Now she's not sure. Let me just mute my mic so I can handle her
Please
for
mute
a
your mic.
second.
I've totally lost my point. It's spring in the air. I'm going to blame it on that and the pollen. That's where the work has to be done, is being able to get quiet with yourself and think about where the messages you have about yourself, your value, your worth, and where they come from. How many of them are yours? How many of them come from others? And if some of the messages come from others, is their agenda for your life the same as your agenda for your life? If the answer is no, then you probably want to work on trying to delete those messages, to re-record over them with something that is more affirming for yourself, that feels more authentic and genuine for yourself, and that helps to make you feel uplifted, and help you feel whole, and help you connect to your personal sense of worth. That's where the work has to be done. And the implications for your overall mental health and well-being are, I think, broad and vast. And it's worth you taking the time to do that for yourself. Tomas, I see we are 14 minutes and 25 seconds over time. Do you have anything else you would like to say before we sign off for today?
Yes. I'd like to quote from a great modern philosopher
Uh-oh.
by the name of RuPaul Charles.
Yes.
If you